Brian, you're up.
All right. Take it, we're recording. All right. Hi, this is the Lehigh County Authority Board of Directors meeting of March 11th, 2024. The meeting is being recorded. It's available via phone, internet, Zoom, and also our website, I guess. Let's have a roll call of the Board of Directors, please.
Certainly, a roll call of the board. Brian Noggle.
Here.
Aaron Keneally. Here. Ted Lyons.
Here.
Jeff Morgan.
Here.
Norma Cusick.
Here.
Kevin Baker.
Here.
Linda Rosenfeld. Here. Sean Viller. Oh, Sean. Mark Ramus. We have 7 board members present, so that is important.
Sean's here, but he was.
Oh, hi, Sean.
Hear me now?
We can't hear you, Sean.
Yes,
No.
no, yes.
Now we hear you.
We got you.
Sean's
All right.
here.
Thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. We did have an executive session before this on legal matters. I'm going to now, let's see, the board did get its package in advance, or was mailed out in advance, and it was available hard copy, email, and also on the web. Let's go over the agenda for today's meeting. Any changes, additions to the agenda?
No changes, no additions, and no additional executive sessions.
Great,
Today.
thank you very much. Now moving on to the approval of the minutes from the February 26th, 2024 board meeting.
I'll move those minutes for approval.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Sean and seconded by Norma for approval of the meeting minutes that were distributed and available on the web. Any questions?
Abstain, but I was not here.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays?
Ted's abstaining.
We have exceptions. Sorry for abstentions. The meeting notes are approved. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. This is the opportunity for the public to raise any questions that are not, or comments, make any comments that are not part of our agenda.
No comments, Brian.
No comments, Brian. Thank you.
And thank you both. All right, moving on to action discussion items. We have 2 under finance and administration. The first one is authorization for additional legal action regarding PFA's litigation. We have a motion that's going to be made by our solicitors, so we all understand what that motion is.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nagel. Motion for consideration for the board to authorize Grant Eisenhofer as special counsel to the authority to negotiate a settlement covering unreleased claims with 3M contingent upon an acceptable settlement covering unreleased claims being reached. The authority's chief executive officer and/or chief financial officer are authorized, empowered, and directed following conferring with and receiving agreement from the authority's solicitor to take whatever action or steps are deemed necessary by special counsel to effectuate any such agreement.
So moved. Second.
All right, the motion was read by the solicitor, made by Linda, I take it, and also seconded by Norma. All right, we will have a voice vote on this.
All right, so voice vote on the motion as read by Solicitor Reed. Brian Noggle.
I guess I should, before I do that, I think we should ask for any questions, just to make sure that's formal. All right, hearing none, then Brian Noggle says yes.
Thank you. Aaron Keneally.
Yes.
Ted Lyons.
Yes.
Jeff Morgan.
Yes.
Norma Cusick.
Yes.
Kevin Baker.
Yes.
Linda Rosenfeld.
Yes.
Sean Ziller.
No.
All right, thank you. That is 7 votes yes, the motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on then to the next item on the agenda, under Finance Administration, we have the LCA Strategic Plan Quarterly Progress Reporting. It is for discussion only. The yellow documents in the board package and digital board packet pages 7 through 17.
All right, thank you. So as I have been doing roughly every 3 months or so, I wanted to share a quarterly update of the progress on our strategic initiatives. And this is really a 2023 year-end report, as well as just a quick look ahead at some of our key goals for 2024. So in the memo that was provided, I gave a little bit of background on the history on the strategic plan that was adopted in December of 2021. So it's been a couple of years. We've been working on some very specific strategic initiatives that are outlined in the year-end report. And wanted to share that report is really a kind of a 2-year look. We use the same goals and same formats for 2022 as well as 2023. And you'll see that for 2023, the quarterly status report is shown. I want to highlight just at a high level that in 2023, we had 24 distinct activities or milestones we were planning on achieving. And you'll see in the little pie graph on the first page of that report, there are just a couple that are shown as in yellow, which means they have not been started yet. The remainder are either completed or in progress because, as you know, our work does not start and end on the calendar year. So there's a lot of things that kind of fall into the next year. And just for context, there are 2 items in that yellow category of not started, and both of them relate to initiatives in our employee engagement category, due primarily to some staff turnover in our HR department and shifting of some of those priorities. So with those exceptions of those initiatives that have not been started, I think we're generally really pleased with the progress made in 2023 on all these many activities. However, moving forward, this is a lot to track and a lot to talk about every quarter. So we thought that we heard from the board, and I know in talking with the staff that a more simplified approach for reporting of these initiatives would be welcomed and beneficial. And so we have highlighted, instead of 24 milestones, just 7 broad categories that we'd be focused on in 2024. They're shown on page 2 of the memo. They relate to the Kleins Island Sewer System Act 537 plan, our Munis implementation project, our lead program, which is increasing in priority for us, our asset management program, employee safety, employee engagement. And then the last initiative we haven't spoken with, but is a staffing and building plan. We've identified internally the need to really look carefully at our staffing levels and making sure we have both the human and the physical infrastructure in place to be able to carry out the project load that's coming as we implement the Act 537 plan and lead program and lots of other initiatives. So those 7 items reflect the goals and the categories of strategic initiatives we plan to report on in 2024 moving forward. And just wanted to put that in front of the board, get any feedback you have on those 7, as well as any questions you have on our progress and achievements in 2023. No formal presentation today.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Since these are longer term projects and goals, would it be more efficient to have like a semi-annual update and then just a year-end instead of quarterly, just do it twice a year?
Yeah. I think we could do that if that's what you'd like to do. My thinking on the 7 initiatives is that most of these are items that you're going to hear about anyway through the course of our regular business. Certainly, you're gonna hear from Phil and AJ and Ed and myself on the Act 537 plan just about every month. The Munis implementation, some form of report as time goes on and decisions are made. Same thing with the lead program, asset management will be on the rising, actually asking for authorization today for something that relates to asset management. So I think we're gonna have like regular conversation about these 7 key strategies. So a less frequent formal report would probably make sense.
Thank you.
Brian, yeah, you're muted.
Yep, I got it. Any other board comments on the frequency? Do you need to see a quarterly versus a semi-annual?
No comment on that in particular, but Lisa, just following up to this, are you also separately, as it relates to the initiatives and the strategic plan, those that maybe are a bit more challenging, or you're finding, you're struggling to kind of, hitting roadblocks and accomplishing, or is there a separate place where you're noting those? In other words, your kind of top line challenges that are in the strategic plan, but you feel you're going to encounter some headwinds. Are you tracking those separately?
I don't think we're tracking them separately. I think what you see in the report, the quarterly report kind of notes the status. So you'll see throughout things that are sort of rolling into 2024 versus items that have been sort of shifted, and primarily in the employee engagement area. That's where you see that commentary about what's shifting and why.
Thank you.
Any other board comments? All right, from my point of view, I think that quarterly reporting on issues of concern would be more important. That we don't need to have a complete report, but you should go over the objectives, the goals, the activities, and just highlight those areas where there is concern for being able to achieve the goal by the end of the year. So I'd be up for a semi-annual or an annual report, but a quarterly report on problem areas and plans to correct it. Comments?
I agree, Ted.
Yeah, Brian, I agree with that. I think making it issues based or exception based, sorry is the right word, is better than anything else. That draws attention to the things that matter.
The areas where the board needs to focus on, if there's any changes that need to be made or supported, is requested or required. All right, can we, Lisa, are you okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's
Save some time on preparation of this document, just to keep us focused on those areas that we can lend support to. Okay.
very good. Thank you.
All right. Any other board questions on this document and the progress being made? Anything more on your presentation, Lisa?
No, that's it. Wanted to keep it short and sweet.
Okay. I think that's short and sweet enough. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda. We don't have anything under water. We do have 2 items under wastewater, both related to Klein's Island wastewater treatment plant. The first one being the master plan, seeking approval. It is the blue documents in our board packet, and it's digital board packet pages 18 to 21.
And this one in particular, I just wanted to highlight from the conversation we just finished about the strategic plan. This one is directly related to our asset management strategies for 2024, part of our one of the key achievements we want to achieve in 2024. So you'll see things tying together nicely there. Chuck, do you want to introduce or Amy?
Yep, thanks, Liesl. Amy's going to present this project. This is a report that we prepare. It's least required every 5 years to the city, looking at the plant and including, as Liesl said, asset management provisions condition assessments and prioritizing capital improvements. I'll let Amy fill you in on the details. Take it away, Amy.
Thanks, Chuck. As Chuck said, this is a lease requirement, and we're required in a 5-year interval to perform a master plan, and the last one was performed in 2019. So we're due. We solicited from 4 firms, but we only received 2 proposals. AECom, who partnered with Kleinfelder, which was one of the firms we solicited from, submitted a proposal, as well as Black and Beach. Their costs were very close in comparison. And we had a team who reviewed everything and felt that Black and Beach prepared the best proposal. And their cost was comparable to AECom's team. So we're asking for authorization for the proposal for Black and Beach for $279,602. This will include an initial evaluation of existing documentation, the existing plan, understanding the current processes, and then they're going to evaluate current and future flows and loads, regulatory analysis, existing alterations and how those affect things, pretreatment opportunity evaluation, assess emerging contaminants, process intensification, architectural and space evaluation assessment, SCADA upgrades, storage assessment, as well as asset management. So there's a large variety of tasks that they're going to be evaluating. They're also going to look at some chemical assessment, staffing assessment, security, the roadways and grounds on the site, energy reduction. I know one of the things we asked for is, what other alternatives, solar was one of the things that was discussed for energy efficiency and alternative sources. They're also going to evaluate existing work that was completed by others, prior work, such as the chlorination, dechlorination operation, and then also look at some parallel work that's being done right now, which is currently in the works or out for construction, septic receiving, backup power, the new feed to the plant, electrical assessment, main pump station and auxiliary pump station upgrades, which we have discussed at prior meetings. So it's a global approach to the plant. And it's a little bit more involved than the last one, hence the increase in cost from 5 years ago. But it gives us a better picture of the plant. So the final submittal from them will be the final master plan report.
Amy, who did the last master plan in 2019?
The last one was performed by Kleinfelder.
Oh, okay.
Amy,
And
just,
Kleinfelder did not provide a separate proposal. They teamed with AECom.
and Amy, Black and Beach still rose to the top, even with the collaboration in the team's view, even with the collaboration between AECom and Kleinfelder.
Yeah, they just put together a better proposal, we felt, and our thought process also was, kind of a new set of eyes, get a new,
Right.
New eyes on the plant and a different perspective.
And they also included a lot more hours. If you look at the hour
Yes.
breakdown on the memo and the table.
What of this information we need to have for 537 plan? Because I remember the reason I'm asking this question, because for the pre-treatment, I believe they do have 5 years and then we authorize some money for 10 years and justification was that for 537 plan. I just want to see how does this study, sort of clicking with with what we have done with the pre-treatment.
Yeah, I can jump in on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Amir, the first master plan identified a handful of projects like outside the 537 realm over the next decade. So those projects have already been identified and have already been as part of the 537 cost estimate. So those aren't really changing. And I don't envision Black Beach finding anything new per se that would have to be added to the 537 number.
So the reason I'm asking this question, Phil, because you came and asked for additional money besides the 5 years for the pre-treatment facility because you said they needed to have a 10 years. It was around Christmas time. And we agreed that because of the Christmas gift for that and for me. But I'm asking that, is this something that they require? So if we have to do 5 years, does it make sense we do 10 years? Like justification we brought for the pre-treatment, so we are sort of getting both of them at the same time. That's the reason I'm asking that question.
Yeah, I think this plan is the full scope, the full future of Quines Island out through the end of the lease. That's the timing scope of this master plan. So we will get the 10-year look. And then, as Phil said, we already know what projects at Quines Island will be included in the 537 plan, but certainly if there's major changes or major change in perspective on those projects that Black and Beach brings, we can incorporate those changes into the 537. But we already have those projects identified.
Yeah, and condition assessment is also included of processes and tanks that aren't necessarily impacted by the 537 improvements. Like other processes, like maybe final clarifiers that aren't necessarily impacted. It's going to give us 0 to 5 year, 10 to 25 year, and 25+ year capital improvement prioritization plan. So we can plan our work, but I assume there is a certain dovetailing with the Act 537, but this is more comprehensive.
Any other questions? Okay, we have before us the Allentown Division, Quines Island wastewater treatment plan, waste treatment plant master plan, seeking a capital project authorization for the master plan development of a total amount of $314,602. That includes a professional services authorization to Black and Beach for $279,602.
I'll move that. I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Motion made by Linda and seconded by Norma.
Yes.
All right, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on, second item under wastewater, Quines Island wastewater treatment plant, primary sludge system upgrades, seeking approval. Is green documents within your board package and digital package pages 22 to 30.
Okay, thanks, Liesl. Amy's going to present this one as well. I'll just summarize this. This is a project from the 2019 master plan. It was project proposal number 3, it was called, and it was for sludge thickening and digestion improvements. And one of the components in recommended in that project was the ability to convey thicker sludge to the anaerobic digesters, which are represent a limiting capacity factor at the plant. So the objective of this plan is to replace some parallel primary sludge lines in order to optimize the performance of the digesters. So I'll let Amy take the rest.
Thanks, Chuck. So this is a capital project authorization for detailed design and bidding phase services. We are looking to improve efficiency and reduce maintenance frequency and downtime. Currently, as Chuck said, the parallel primary sludge lines. Currently, the plant staff and distribution and collection staff are tasked at cleaning that out every two to three times a year, which takes about a day per line. So that's 2 days of maintenance. That's very labor intensive, takes a long time. They have to go from one clean out to the next and keep flushing it down. So the hope is to improve that that line and reduce the amount of needed maintenance. The improvements will also include pipe replacement within the primary sludge pump station with glass lined ductile iron pipe, which will reduce the maintenance needed and reduce the amount of clogging. Installation of 2 new glass line primary sludge lines that are increasing from 6-inch diameter to 8-inch diameter for the force mains. Replace modifications to the piping and instrumentation within the digester control building, which will improve operability when taking the tanks out of service for maintenance and cleaning, which we do on a 5-year cycle. There's complex piping layout within the existing primary sludge pump station and the digester control building. Sorry, that's a mouthful. Also within the primary sludge pump station, there's the main 54-inch header. It's the primary effluent pipe. It is in need of some recoating. If you look at it, it's peeling away and it looks pretty nasty looking. So there's going to involve some cleaning and coating of that to improve the lifespan of it, as well as replacing a coupling, which may result in the need for some bypass pumping during that operation, during construction. So that's going to be something that's evaluated. And then within the digester control building itself, there's going to be new magnetic flow meters. And like I said, the valving, which will help with operations. And that's going to be centrally located in what is now the boiler room. But because we're moving those boilers into the new space, that will be an open space that'll be isolated and ideal location for that equipment. Dewey Engineering was retained to perform the preliminary engineering report, which we submitted to the city of Allentown on February, the end of January, and February 9th is when we received the approval from the city to consider this as a major capital improvement project. So we will be able to recover costs through the capital cost recovery charge. It's anticipated the work will be completed, if assuming authorization today, anticipated that this work will be completed by the end of August. So we will have bids and be able to award a construction contract in the fall. Authorization is for $153,800 for professional services for Dewey Engineering. And a total total capital project authorization of $173,800. Any questions?
If I could just add what Amy said about the glass line ductile iron pipe. When you glass line ductile iron pipe, it reduces the friction factor of the fluid being conveyed. It essentially makes the pipe more slippery. And right now we have, like Amy said, we get clogged with grease. That happens, and the grease, one of the reasons the grease clogs is because there's internal friction in the pipe and places for the grease to hang up. I think the pipe it might be cast iron, it's old, I'm not sure. Maybe you would know, Andrew.
Not sure what it's actually.
It's probably predates ductile. And it's 6 inches. Like Amy said, we want to upsize it to 8 inches, so that will help as well. And each pipe is 1,300 feet long, so it's a total of 2,600 feet of pipe. It's a pretty significant project. Going through paved areas where there's lots of other stuff to avoid, to go under, to go over. We'll be needing to keep a close eye on this project.
Are the pumps in the station okay, that they're not being replaced or looked at as part of this project?
The pumps are not being replaced as part of this project. They are rebuilt on a regular maintenance schedule, and they're in good condition. There's no need to replace them at this time.
Hopefully those pipes are not fluoro-coated for the slippage, so we create more fluorine.
I hope they're not PFAS.
No, just
Yeah.
joking. It would be very expensive pipe.
Any other board questions, comments? Okay, hearing none. We have before us Downtown Division, Pines Island wastewater treatment plant, primary sludge upgrades. Seeking for detailed design and bidding services. Total capital project authorization of $173,800. That includes a professional services authorization to Dewey Engineering for $153,800.
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry, who's that?
I'll make a motion.
Right. Thanks, Sean.
Second.
Seconded by Norma. All right, any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you.
And Chuck, of course. All right, moving on now to item number 6 on our agenda, the monthly project updates and information items. It is the first board meeting of the month. There's digital board package, pages 31 to 38. They are the white documents within your package, including the March report was attached.
All right, thank you. So just looking ahead at the next meeting in March, I wanted to highlight a couple of things. First of all, the monthly financial review, the February report will not be available for the meeting on the 25th. We'll defer that to the first meeting in April, because really the delay is just a matter of closing the year and kind of getting all that activity behind us so that we can focus on current year reporting. We will have the monthly operations report as we normally do. There's a few projects that are noted for the next meeting. The Lehigh River Pump Station upgrade, that's a brand new project. We'll hear from Amy again. We also will be bringing to the board some documents that we'd like the board to consider approving that are more to formalize some of our policies and procedures related to the lead replacement program. So that'll be a good discussion. Also, kind of a highlight, I think it'll be a highlight, Phil, and AJ, for the next meeting, we would like to do a presentation and a deeper dive on the pretreatment plant and the options analysis that has occurred since we last presented the master plan last year. So that will be an exciting discussion, I'm sure. And yeah, and then more regional sewer capacity project discussion next week, next meeting. We're gonna have one more item. Which one is that, Chuck? Remind me.
Sand Spring Process Intensification Project.
That's missing from the report, but we're gonna have that on the agenda.
Yeah.
No problem. I did want to highlight on the project update section, part 2 of the report. I included here an update on the financial and institutional valuation related to the KISS Act 537 plan, that work that Raftellus is doing. We had planned to bring back, you probably saw in a prior month's report, we planned to bring Raftellus back for phase 3 authorization this month. And we have put that on hold because there is still a lot of conversation regionally happening about the cost sharing approaches and some additional financial analysis that we've asked Raftellus to do in the interim period related to the pretreatment plant, as well as just taking another look at our lease financials to see how that dovetails with the intermunicipal agreements. So we're doing these smaller interim analyses first, and then we'll come back for phase 3 authorization probably in May. So wanted to explain why that's been delayed a little bit. in the open project list, the usual long list of projects that we're working on. I just wanted to highlight on the last page, the Allentown I&I source reduction program year 4 is in project closeout phase, so that's going to come off the report next month. If there's any questions, happy to start answering.
Okay, thanks, Lexel. All right, not hearing any other questions, moving on to item number 9, which is further staff comments.
I have nothing additional today.
All right, solicitor comments.
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
All right, public comments on any topic whatsoever.
No, thanks, Brian.
Yep, no comments. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Jenny and Brian. Further board member comments. All right, we have no executive session, so at this point in time, I thank you everybody for attending, and we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day.